Hello Chefsitos and welcome to Vegan Cooking Mastery. My name is Chef Lalo and here I teach you how to cook vegan food every single time. The reason I'm so passionate about this is because I want you to gain control of your health through food. One of the ways we can do it is by making our food that we are eating every single day delicious but also healthy at the same time. How do I do that? I have over 10 years of experience working in the kitchen and I'm a very healthy focused chef. In this recipe, today we're gonna use lemongrass, one of my favorite ingredients. It has a lot of flavor, has a lot of aroma because it's lemony, but also we're gonna use some miso paste made out of soybeans. Super good, super delicious, and on top of that, the third start is mushroom. We're gonna use two kind of mushrooms. One is gonna be portobello and the other one is oyster mushrooms. So I hope you're ready because this dish is gonna be super yummy. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's get started. In this video, I want to share a little bit about the dish so you understand what we're gonna do before we do it, and when we're doing it, you have a sense of like, oh, okay, I understand why he said this. And sorry about the hiccups. I know they might be a little bit annoying and they might cut me out sometimes, but you know, I want to do this video for you, so I'm committed to do it, and just so you know. Anyway, so we're gonna use lemongrass. The lemongrass is lemony, is grassy, is fresh. That's why it's gonna be so good combined with miso that is mellow flavor. So what I mean with mellow is not, we don't want like roasted miso or like a dark miso made out of barley or something else, unless that's something that you want to eat it, you know? I want to potentialize the flavor of the lemongrass. And on top, the main ingredient is going to be mushrooms. We're gonna use two mushrooms, portobello and oyster mushrooms. So we're gonna roast them. I'm also gonna show you that you can also grill some of them for some extra flavor. And to top them, to finish off, we're gonna do some pickled carrots and with some pickled radishes to add texture, but also flavor and deliciousness into this dish. Okay, so as always, I always teach you in my videos, always start with something that is gonna be in the oven, and then you can let it there and then start working on something else, right? That's the way that you're gonna be more efficient in the kitchen. So in this case, we have the mushrooms. Here, what I did is I preheated my oven to 450 and then I put a sheet tray in the oven. So it gets super, super hot to sear the mushrooms. Mushrooms plus high heat equals extra deliciousness and caramelization and flavor. So let's do it. So we have this portobello. How we clean them? Sometimes they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be a little bit of dirt on top of them and below. So what you want to do, you can grab the skin from the bottom and then just peel it. If they're too dirty, you can also use a brush and just brush it off, right? It's up to you. You can peel them or not, and it's not necessary to do this. You can just brush it, but this one is a little bit dirty actually, so I would just remove this part. Now that we already peeled them, we need to check that there is no dirt in here in the bottom part of the mushrooms. A lot of people remove them. The French actually just remove them and throw them away. I don't do that because I think they have a lot of flavor and they smell so good. Just grab your mushroom and then just smell it. It just smells like the earth, you know. It's like so good. Like when you go to the park and you know they just put some water or it just rain. All that kind of like aroma that comes from the earth. I think that's what I think when I smell mushrooms. So I won't do it. If you want to do it, please be ahead and do it. The next step is gonna cut them. Depending on what I'm gonna do, I sometimes remove the stem. This is a short stem, so I'm not gonna remove it because also it has some texture into it. So we're just gonna slice them. What I'm gonna do is just gonna slice them, not too thick and not too thin, you know, but definitely not super thick, because we want them to cook fast. Remember, mushroom, they had a lot of water. So remember, mushroom have a lot of water, so you don't want them to have a thick piece because if not, it's gonna take forever to remove a little bit of that water and get caramelized. So now that we have this, I'm gonna place them in here in this container. I'm gonna do the same with the other one. All right, so this is the thickness that we're looking for. You can leave it a little bit thicker, that's fine, it's not gonna make a huge difference, but just so you know as a reference, okay? We put them all into our container. Carefully, you don't wanna break them. you know. Then we're gonna add olive oil. Why oil? Because we want the oil is gonna help us to transfer the heat. So it is important that you add any oil. I want to add olive oil, but you can also use grapeseed oil, or I would even recommend coconut oil, or if you want a little bit of avocado oil as well. All of those go well. Be careful because look, I already broke one. So we're just gonna carefully just kind of like stir them around, then season with salt. You can add some pepper here. This is gonna be a very simple seasoning because the star is the lemongrass. The star is gonna be the miso with the lemongrass, and this is gonna be the one that is gonna add more boldness into the dish, but that's it. So now we're gonna take out our tray, super hot. It's been there for 20 minutes. I'm gonna place it in here. I'm gonna place the mushrooms on top, okay? This is super hot. I can feel the heat over here. So what I recommend you to do is either put your towel right here, like close to you, so if you get closer, or put it a little bit far away, the sheet tray, and a towel for you to recognize that it's there. And then look, can you hear how it's already cooking it? So that's the point. So we're gonna line them up like here, like this. One, look, it's already smelling. Wow. So we're gonna do all of them. Watch out with the tray, be careful. Remember, you wanna be present when you're cooking. You know, be here, don't be with the kids, don't be like doing all of these things at the same time. And then just do it fast, and then you can go and then do the other thing. This is to save you time. All right, let's add a little bit more oil on top of them. Also because in the tray, some of the mushrooms didn't get some oil. So look, this is how it looks. Careful, let's go in. Set a timer. At that temperature for what we want, some color, you know, and then release the water, I think it's gonna take around 20 minutes. All right, so now let's do the oyster mushrooms. So for the oyster mushrooms, these mushrooms have also a lot of water, but they're so good. So you can see here, this is the stem, and then from here comes the mushroom. So what you're gonna do is just like third them from the top to the bottom. You're gonna still see how they get, the root is holding them. So we wanna remove a little piece of the root, the very bottom, that is really, really hard. So you can leave a little bit of this one, and then we're just gonna start taking one by one like a mushroom ear. This is what we want. So just with your hands, this is gonna take you like no time at all. If you see that the bottom is so hard, just remove it. Alrighty, so now that we have all the mushroom ears separate, we're gonna use olive oil, just a little bit to cover them. We're gonna massage them, kind of, and then we're gonna put in our grill. So warm up your grill, very, very hot. Then we're gonna season with salt. Remember to kind of like move the mushrooms around, just so all of them get a little bit of salt. And then we're gonna put a little bit of garlic powder. Why garlic powder? Because if we put regular garlic, it tends to burn easier. So this is a good trick for you to not burn the actual garlic, but get the flavor. So I got this organic garlic powder. And if you wanna know how it's made, you have some questions, I'm willing to answer them. It's very simple. They basically dry them. All right, guys. So now that we mix our mushrooms and our pan is really hot, it needs to be super hot. Remember, hot, hot, hot. Not just medium hot or just like turn it on and then add the mushrooms. No, super hot. We want them to be like releasing a little bit of smoke. And another tip, don't crowd the pan. So we're gonna put these mushrooms, can be facing down or facing up. We're gonna probably put some weight on them, but don't crowd the pan. If only 10 mushrooms fits, only 10. Because otherwise it doesn't make any sense that you grill them, you know, because you're not gonna get a good color on them. So I'm gonna put kind of like half of them and then just press them. You can press with a spatula, just press them down for a little bit and then leave them there until they get some real color. It's gonna be like a minute or 2 minutes. Then we flip them really quick and then that's it, they're done. Super good, super easy. A nice trick to do for the mushroom to be pressed down is to use a pan and then on top something heavy. Or you can fill it with some water or something that is heavy. That is gonna make them take even less time and get like a super nice sear. So while that's cooking, I'm gonna start talking about this lemongrass. So how do we extract the more flavor out of this lemongrass? Is first we need a very heavy knife. I mean, heavy, thick blade, German kind of style knife. Why? Because Japanese knives, they're super sharp, but this is very fibrous and actually it's gonna kind of ruin your knife. Or if not ruin it, it's gonna kind of like remove the sharpness. So we don't want that because we spend a lot of time sharpening, right? We're gonna use this. We're gonna start like finely, you know? We're gonna feel, you know, the toughness. Even with this, but kind of finely as you can. Watch your fingers, and then we're gonna do this with the whole lemongrass. You can do one by one if it's easier. It's actually easier. The finer it is, the more flavor we're gonna extract from it because the more surface it's open and exposed to the oil. Then when we're gonna saute it, extract all the flavor in the oil, then blend it. Oh my God, it's gonna be so good. This is the last bit. I'm just finishing up with this. The bottom we can put in the garbage. And now these mushrooms are gonna be ready. So we're gonna put them over here and then check them. So we need to check this out. The color of this, it is just beautiful. So gorgeous. And the flavor, if you were here, you can smell like, kind of like, I don't know, like the meatiness, the sugars caramelizing. It's just, it is like so good. All the flavors in the air, amazing. And also I love mushrooms. But look, this searing, you wouldn't get it if you didn't put some weight on it. So we're gonna take this out and look at this bad boy. Look at this guy. Ooh. Okay, let's put more and then let's start with our broth. All right, so let's get started with our broth. We're gonna add some oil into our pot. The oil is gonna serve us to bring out all the flavor from all the ingredients. It's a way to extract the flavor. That's why you have essential oils. For example, when you see essential oils, look at the ingredients. They have oil and they have the ingredient. They extract it in that way. I mean, there are different processes, but in food we do the same, but we heat it, right? So we're gonna add the lemongrass, all the lemongrass in our pot. And we're gonna start with also the ginger. Ginger, yes, look at this, beautiful ginger, diced, small. We're gonna cook it in here until start getting some color. Yes, I like the aroma. I just put it in and it smells so lovely. I love the smell of lemongrass and I think you will too. Oh my goodness, it's so good. So we're gonna cook this for about, I would say 3 to 5 minutes, and then we're gonna start adding the rest of the ingredients one by one. All right, so let's continue. It's been 3 minutes and now this smells so delicious. We're start getting some color. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to try this. We're gonna add the garlic, minced garlic. This means it's gonna cook faster. So we're just gonna cook it there for about 2 minutes. We don't want color or anything, just like extract the flavor as well and get it mixed in here. Oh, good, so good. All right. In the meantime, while we check this, let's check our mushrooms. It's been the 20, and look, wow, they look like chicharrón. Very nice, very nice. So look, we have our mushrooms, our kind of like chicharrón mushrooms. Look, the flavor is gonna be so concentrated. Let's try one. Oh my God, so good. It's so good. We're gonna put them in here with our other mushrooms that are so good too. Yes, it is very good. Oh yes. Let's continue. It's been like the 2 minutes over here with our garlic. And now, look, I can feel the aroma, smell it. I know it's ready. Remember, use your senses. In this case, sometimes you don't even need to see. You know, I'm smelling and I'm like, okay, that's ready. And I look at it and it's like, oh yeah, it's very ready. We're gonna add our water. Boom, all of it. This is the second step. Second step for extracting more flavor. with the water. Now everything is gonna be absorbed by the water for a few minutes. So we're gonna bring it to a boil. And then after we bring it to a boil, we're gonna add our miso paste. We're gonna blend everything, strain it, and ooh, that's it, guys. So easy, I told you, right? So easy, but super flavorful. That's what I'm all about. Alrighty. This is what I'm talking about, look. You see the color in both the garlic, the celery, and the lemongrass. All right, so now let's start getting into our pickles. So we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil into our pan. And what we're gonna do basically is saute all these ingredients. So all these veggies, we're gonna add some carrots. You know, everything is kind of like finely cut. We're gonna add our radishes. And basically this saute is gonna take like a minute, you know, in like medium-high heat. So we have this, we're gonna stir them. At the same time, we're gonna add the onion, red onion, sliced, thinly sliced. This is gonna add another layer of flavor in our ramen because, you know, a lot of people, they eat it very plain, but then when you pickle something, that just gives them like kicks after kicks after kicks. And when it's pickled this way, you still can feel the flavor and the texture of every single vegetable. So look, we have the carrots, the radish, we're gonna add some salt into them. We're gonna add a bay leaf as well. We're gonna add a little more salt, mix it up. That looks so yummy, isn't it? My goodness. And it smells so good. Beautiful. We're gonna leave it there and we're gonna add spice. This is Sichuan pepper. I toasted it and then I grind it in the grinder, spice grinder. So look, a little bit. Sichuan pepper is so aromatic and very strong. So you don't want to put a lot because you don't want to overpower the lemongrass because that's the main star. We can start hearing the sizzling stronger. So that means more water of the vegetables getting out. And look, oh la la. Okay, at this point, when you hear that, when you see all this steam coming out, then we're gonna add our vinegar. I'm gonna use rice vinegar. So rice vinegar is made out of rice, obviously, but it's pretty sweet. And what we're gonna do here, this method of pickling is not like the covering method. So I add the vinegar and I'm gonna still cooking in them. You know, mix them around from time to time. What I want is the vegetables to absorb all this vinegar, or at least most of it. And then at that point, the vegetables would be partially cooked and pickled, quick pickled. So we're gonna leave them there for about, I would say 5 to 10 minutes. And then we're gonna come and check on them. Okay, perfect. So as you can see here, almost all the vinegar is already evaporated and into the vegetables. It's been 3 minutes. I'm gonna turn it off and then we're gonna set them aside. And look, this is what we have. Gorgeous, no? So good. Then if I pick one, here's them, still crunchy. You can season with more salt if necessary, and if not, let's put it in a container and let's go. All right, so this is what is next. We're gonna grab our blender. We're gonna put down our miso paste. We don't have to cook it. Why? Because the broth is already hot. So just be careful and then pour it into it slowly. Watch out. Bring your body outwards so you don't burn yourself, or even with the steam. So just put it down, everything down, just like that, yes. Amazing. Now we're gonna add a pinch of salt, not too much because the miso tends to be salty. So just a pinch or two. Then we're gonna blend, and remember, if you don't have a blender that releases the steam by itself, use a towel at the top. Right here where my hand is. A towel, remove the lid so all the steam can go out and then you don't get burnt. Then we're gonna blend until it's very smooth for about like 30 seconds on medium-high speed. Alright, this was our last step to extract all the flavor out of the lemongrass. Why? Because now we created an emulsion with the water, with the oil, and with the miso. And obviously with the lemongrass, the ginger, and the garlic. Through incorporating speed, right? Because of the friction of the blender. That's why you need a good blender. So with this amazing blender, we just blend it all. So now we're gonna have a creamy consistency. Check this out. All right, so I told you this was gonna get so creamy, and just check this out. Just check this out, boom. Look at that creaminess. So we're gonna pass it through a sieve, and make sure you stir it. You can stir it like this. I recommend you to do that. A lot of people do that, they tap into it. That's also valid, so whatever you prefer, because there's gonna be a lot of fiber from the lemongrass here. Also the ginger, but we didn't put so much ginger, so it would be mostly the lemongrass. Can you see the color, the texture, everything just changed by blending it. This is what I want you to learn, because if you know this, then you can add anything that you want and make your own. Make it your own, baby. That's it, Chefsitos. Look at this delicious broth for our ramen. You are very welcome. And look, here is basically the end. We're just gonna squeeze this with our spoon, just by pressing it against the colander. And look, this paste that we have here, this is the lemongrass. And voila, we finished straining, and that's it. I already strained everything, and now you can see the consistency. Super creamy. All these bubbles are because all the air that got into the mix. Thanks to the blender. Thank you, blender. Alright, so now that we have our broth, we have our pickles, we have our mushrooms, we have the toppings, now we're gonna cook our ramen pasta. So I have two kinds of ramen. One is gluten-free and the other one is lo mein. So what's the difference? The difference is one is made with gluten, the lo mein is made with gluten, and the other one is gluten-free. But I wanna show you how to cook this gluten-free because I see a lot of people don't know how to cook it. Sometimes it gets stuck, and it has happened to me because I made a mistake one day of just putting the boiling water and I was like, oh, okay, stir it. I was like, no, it gotta stick together. I was like, it will be fine, you know? Then when I went after a few minutes, I was like, wow, this actually doesn't pull off, you know, it doesn't come out every single string. And then I had to cook another one. So what I wanna show you is that the process is very simple. You just need to put it in the water and then stir it, but be there. It's gonna take like 4 minutes, but just be there, stirring, moving everything, and using probably 2 tongs or tweezers, or even forks, 2 forks, just to separate every single string one from another. So let's do it. All right, guys, so we have our boiling water. That's how you want it to be, boiling. Then we're gonna add salt, yes, because you still need the pasta to be seasoned, you know, because if not, it's gonna taste like anything. A lot of people don't add the salt, but it's necessary, guys, please. So a little bit of salt is not gonna affect. That doesn't mean that all that salt that we put in there is gonna go into your pasta. Not at all. So look, we have this, our rice ramen pasta. This is vegan, this is made out of brown rice and millet. We're gonna drop it. So drop it, and then I have a fork, and then I have my tweezers. You can have 2 forks. So at the beginning, in the package it says 4 minutes. So we're gonna time it, and I would say after 2 minutes, you're gonna see that it starts kind of like not falling apart, but like separating every single grain. Like for example, this is stiff, still doesn't move. So after 2 minutes, we're gonna start separating it. All right, so it's been 5 minutes. Look at this, 5 minutes, and they are just done. So after 5 minutes, we turn it off. All right, so now we're gonna strain, and then we're gonna cool it off with cold water. So just grab the noodles, I would say put them on top of this, of a colander, so you can just rinse them easily. Also, if you want to use the water to cook the next batch, make sure you add more water into it because it's going to need way more because all the brown rice starch is already going to be there. Or just add new water, whatever is easier. And so here they are, already rinsed, already cold, and you can see all of them are separate. Okay, and if you were wondering how to cook the lo mein, we're gonna do the same process. We're gonna add the lo mein, but this is way easier because these actually we can just leave them there and stir them from time to time and they will be completely fine. So now that they're in there, they're gonna about to get soft, so maybe 30 seconds, but you can still, you know, swirl the water so they start moving by themselves. And then you set your timer. Always set your timer a little bit before the time that it says in the package. If it says 4, do 3. And then after 3 you check, because sometimes that might be very wrong. You don't want noodles that are overcooked. Look, it's been 1.5 minutes and they're already separate, all of them, you see? So you don't have to really do much. And also if the water is boiling, the same water is actually moving them around. Okay, it's been 5.5 minutes and they're just perfect. You can see how they're all separated. We're gonna do the same that we did with the other noodle. Cool them down, and that's it, we're ready to plate. Congratulations! Okay guys, let's start plating. This is my favorite part because here I get to be creative, I get to just have fun. So here you can have fun as much as you want. You know, you feel that it looks nice for you. Don't be afraid of, like, you know, just don't do a nice presentation at the beginning, or, you know, but you're gonna be better with it. So what I'm trying to do is just like a circle here, you know, because I want to put the noodles in a space so it gives me height, and then put the other vegetables like on top of it, and then the ramen liquid, and so it just probably will look just nice. So look, I have the noodles there, then I have some scallions here. These are all the tops that I love. I have some cilantro stems right here, so we can see actually the colors. I have the mushrooms over here. These are gonna occupy a lot, but that's fine because it's the mushrooms. This is their mushroom ramen, right? So we want to have enough of them. And look, voila, look at that color, look at that texture in those mushrooms, my goodness, I love that. And then we have our pickles, for sure, look at this. You can see the onions, the rainbow carrots, and then we're gonna add some of these radishes as well, because they look so cool and they're gonna add a lot of texture into it, because when we bite, you're gonna feel like, oh wow, you know, like that's nice, you know, crunchy, pickled, my goodness. We're gonna top the center with some cilantro. Just put a lot of cilantro, because this is gonna also add freshness into the dish. And now it looks all covered. All right, so let's start pouring this beautiful and creamy lemongrass and miso broth. Oh, look at that. Isn't that so satisfactory? Look, you put it on the side so it starts occupying the whole plate, but without like messing up with the other ingredients. So you still see the colors of the other ingredients. Now, do you see now my vision of the plating? Oh, and that's it. Oh my God, look at that. I'm so happy, and also I wanna just taste it so bad, so let's taste it. Out of all the process, I have to say this is my favorite part. Of course, right? Who doesn't like eating? So let's taste it, but before that, let's add a little bit of the spicy sauce. So I have this ghost pepper sauce, spicy pepper. I have actually a video about how to make your spicy sauce with chile de árbol. They are amazing. So I'm gonna add a little bit first, because you know I like spicy. And I'm gonna use my thumbs, my tweezers. This is how you eat in the kitchen, by the way. You know, when you work in restaurants, you're always eating with tweezers or like weird instruments, like, you know, sometimes you don't even use forks or things like that. So this just reminds me to that. I actually miss being in a kitchen, in a professional kitchen. Anyway, let's try it. I'm gonna grab a little bit of the noodles, a little bit of the pickles, some mushrooms. I'm salivating already. And some celery, some cilantro, and oh my God, so good. I love the flavor of the broth. I also love the spiciness. I can feel it now in my mouth, but I love it. The pickles are great. They're not like super acid. They just have a little touch. I can feel the crunchiness of the vegetables and also the mushrooms. And the noodles, perfectly. And they're gluten-free, can you believe it? You just need to know how to cook them perfectly in order for you to have a nice food, and you don't have, like, you know, mushy noodles or like a paste in there. So I really love them. I really love the process, the mushroom, the texture, the color they got, the pickles, and then just the freshness of the lemongrass and the miso. It's just the creaminess of the broth. Oh my God, it's to die for. I hope you really love this, because With this, you can have a long variety because you can add other ingredients, you know, maybe instead of lemongrass, add another ingredient that you want to do your soup with and just blend it the same way. But just make sure you follow the process and the seasoning. And remember, when you add the miso, always at the end. You don't want to cook the miso because miso is a live ingredient. Actually, the ramen doesn't have to be served like super boiling when you use miso, right? That's my preference because also I want to take all the goodness of that miso. This is so good, I cannot stop eating. I stopped the video to record the last one and I'm like, let me take another bite. So this broth is not only delicious, but also is healthy. We have anti-inflammatory ingredients like garlic, the ginger, and this is just like bowl of goodness that is gonna actually warm your heart because honestly, look at this beauty. We have the freshness of the cilantro, the lemongrass, the pickle, the texture, and these mushrooms, the color of these mushrooms. Like honestly, there are some restaurants that don't even make this like this, you know, because it requires job and it requires attention. So you now know how to do it and it doesn't really take long. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like the button and leave me your comments below. Leave me your comments, what are your questions about it? Was everything explained properly? What else would you like to see? And also, just tell me more about overall, right? Like, what are your thoughts on this? You know, because I want to hear your voice. I'm here to serve you and I'm here to actually show you things that you actually want to make and do and cook, you know, that are gonna help you in your health journey. Because this is not only cooking for cooking, this is also cooking for our health, for our body, for our spirit, to nourish us and for us to be just better at everything, right? At our life, our business, everything overall. You know, I'm very into that, you know, like the personal development, and I love, you know, always improve every single time. And I want you to also improve. And I also want to push you, you know, your limits, if you allow me. And if you allow me, you're here watching is because you want to grow. You're that kind of person, and I love that. And I thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy that you put into watching this. And now, go make it and then have this delicious meal because this is gonna be mind-blowing, I assure you. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Chef Lalo.